Good afternoon, and welcome back to Music Scrap, the musical scrapper. So I'm starting out on my desk, but I'm going to move over to. Just a moment. I will be moving over to. Actually, I'm going to change that back. My microphone, my built-in. Whoops. Change it to my webcam. Just a moment, please. Yeah, okay. Here we go. Okay, so refresh if you're not seeing me. Okay. So I am going to switch over. I changed the settings that you'll see my whole monitor. So you guys have to behave because in the chat because the chat is going to be recorded. Okay? You're going to get to see the chat as I see it in order for me to show you my pointer to show up, I guess, or whatever. Anyway, so can you hear me? Okay. All right. So I am going to move back to my desktop and just a moment. There. Okay. So can you hear me now? I apologize for those of you who lost the sound for a moment there. Okay. Can you hear me now? Okay. Sound is back. Good. Huh? I was sure I changed it, but I must have clicked it and clicked it off instead of clicking it on. Yeesh. Okay. All right. So, as I was saying when I was asking if you guys can now see my mouse. Can you see my mouse now? Can you see my mouse? Hey, Teresa. This is my colloquy chat. So as you can see, each person's divided, which makes it really nice for my eyes to see. Yeah. Okay, so you can see my mouse now. Okay, good. All right. Alrighty. So if you have the Silhouette and you're not sure if you have the designer edition, when you're opening it up, it should say in the little window. But if you don't notice it, you're not sure, go up to where it says Silhouette Studio, click About Silhouette Studio. See, it says Silhouette Studio. Mine says Designer Edition version 3. So it has to have this designer edition underneath it in order for the SVG files to work. All right. However, if you don't have the designer edition, please note that when you are ordering your files, because instead of sending SVG files, or I can send both versions actually, I can send the SVG file, but I can also send the Silhouette Studio version. If you have Silhouette Studio, I can send it as a studio file. That way you can open it without the studio edition. Okay? No, Terry, there is a place. Oh, I saw the video last week too. There is a place you can get it for like $25 or something US. A downloadable version. Okay, I'm going to make some notes of stuff I need to research for you guys. All right. Designer edition. Upgrade. And I need to research the Cricut Classroom and Cricuts with SVG files. I cannot make a Cricut file because I don't have the Cricut software to make a Cricut. So that won't work. No, it's not a lot of work, Terry. I just have to open the file in Silhouette and save it as a Silhouette file. It's not a lot of work. Yeah, exactly. Oh, excuse me. Yeah. Well, actually, yeah. The other option is I can actually, what I might actually do is make a folder for each file and save it as an SVG, save it as a ping, save it as the Silhouette. And just no matter who orders it, send that file with all three versions, right? Yeah. I think that's what I'll do. Because then that way I don't have to worry in anybody's email, which do you have, which version do you need, yada, yada, yada. So if I just make a folder within my folder for each file, then I can send, because if you have the Silhouette file, you can open and cut and trace a ping file. Yeah, ping is good. Trina, the newer Cricuts will. The Cricut Air, and I believe the Cricut Explorer allows you to use SVG files, but it definitely allows you to, I'm pretty sure it allows you to trace bitmap or pings. So Lynn, what you missed what I said about with regards to the Cricut Expression, I just wrote myself a note that I'm going to look into the classroom, Cricut Classroom. I'm going to do research for you to see whether you can use a ping file with your Cricut, with the Cricut Classroom or not. I'm not sure if you can. So that's, yeah. Bye, Mika. Yeah. Well, Donna, yes, you can. I will show you. I'll put this on my desk so I can show you before I finish this. Yes, you can scan and cut anything on your Silhouette. Yes, you can. It's a different process than the scan and cut. The only bonus for the scan and cut is that you don't have to be connected to the computer to do it. But if you go back and read my scan and cut blog post from a little earlier, you may never buy a scan and cut because, yeah, I had a very bad. So. Exactly, Carol. That's the thing. Exactly. Exactly. Yep. These are all my files, so I didn't use their software to design them, so. Kathy, I will have ping files, SVG files, and studio files. Which is the Silhouette ones. Yeah. Donna, really, to tell you the truth, I've had a Cricut, which I loved, and I only loved it because I have the scan and cut software, so I could really cut anything, and then the company got sued, then Provocraft sued the company that created the software, scan and cut, but I already had it, so it still worked. I don't know enough about the new Cricuts to really advise on those. However, I do know that my Cameo is amazing. It can do everything that the scan and cut can do for $200 less, honestly. And it's not as delicate a machine as the scan and cut is an extremely delicate machine. Let's just say that. So. Yeah, well, if you have software that will convert files, Kathy, then it probably will trace the ping files, right? Yeah. So just let me show you, for example, if you have the designer software like I do, you go File, you go Open. I'm going to my desktop, my stencils, SVG for sale. All right, so let's open the Arches mask. All right, so there's my file. Okay. I can change it if I want, right? I can resize it. All right. Now, because I have the designer software, it will accept my SVG file. So all I have to do is go up here to my line icon, click on the solid line, all right, then oops, sorry. Excuse me. Go to my cutting option. All right. Click on cut. So now that shows me all my lines, and that will cut my file. Okay. Yes, I have the attachment. I can draw with my Silhouette. Silhouette has pens. You can draw your graphic, and then you can cut it out. So if you have digital stamps, you can import your digital stamps. You can have your silhouette, your Cameo can draw it. You can use your different colors by using layers. Then you can trace the outline of it and cut it out like a digital stamp. So your silhouette can do that. Okay, Donna. Okay, so that's going to show me that will cut it out. So that's if you have an SVG. So let's go back to let's say you don't have the designer edition. You can open the Ping file. I do have Ping files here. Let's do one that's a little, excuse me. So now I've opened up the Ping file. All right, now I'm going to have to trace it. Because your cutter is kind of like a printer, instead of the ink, it has a blade. So you have to tell the cutter, the blade, where to start and where to stop. So it's basically creating, what an SVG file is it creates a dot to dot for your blade. And each dot is called a node. So SVG is made up of nodes, and each line has nodes from like the beginning to the end. So the blade knows to cut from this node to this node to this node. Sometimes it's rounded, sometimes it's straight. A Ping file does not have any nodes, so I have to trace this and give it nodes. Okay. So I'm going to, now because I don't have this whole window, normally all my tools here are all the way across. But because I have the window smaller so I can see my chat, it goes down the side here. So this blue and turquoise or teal square here, this is your tracing tool. Okay, so you go to your tracing window and you click on this select trace area. So click on that button. Now I get crosshairs when I go over my mat. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to tell my program where I want it to trace. So I want to make sure it goes inside. And I have to make it bigger here. Oops. Hold on. I'm going to have to hide the... Not sure why. I do not know why it does that sometimes. Anyway, there we go. Now, you have to turn on the low pass filter and change the threshold because you want all of your solid colors where it's going to cut. This is interesting. Whoa! Now it went way too far. Whoa! It's usually at about 50 or 51. You want all that colored part to be yellow. Now this, I'm going to have to, I don't know why it's doing that. But anyway, that's okay. You click this trace button. I can get rid of that later. Click the trace button. What will happen? There, I'm just going to move that in. Ooh. Edit. Undo. 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 Sorry, I have to undo that. All right, so now I have to take my, this is this part that's black, okay? That is my ping file, so I can get rid of that. See, and this is why it's nice to have the designer edition, because you don't have to go through all this. But if you don't have the designer edition, I will give you a silhouette file so you can open it, right? Alright, so now I'm going to release my compound path. I'm going to get rid of this outside. Whoa. And whatever this silly line is, I'm going to have to go in and look at that stencil. I must have something extra on that. I guess it's a good thing I did this. I have something extra on that page. That's what it is. So there, now I have that. That's what's going to cut out of my page. All right, sorry, I can't see the chat now because I made the window larger. Okay. So that's the process. If you have Silhouette and you don't have the designer edition, that's what you have to do with that file. I'm going to make myself a note to check my 3D spheres. Check 3D spheres. It's not going to file. That's not going to affect anything on the blog, because that's just an image anyway on the blog. It's just going to affect me for my, just save the file. I obviously have something weird going on in that file. Yeah, I can see you now. I can see you now. Well, it's recording, Terry. But no, if you buy my files and you have a Silhouette and you don't have the designer edition, I am sending a studio file, so you can cut them. Sure, Terry. And I'll even count it towards your total. Yeah. Can you clean files, Trina, if you don't have the designer edition? Yes, because once you open the studio file, you can make changes. You just have fewer tools. You don't have as many tools. Like, for example, I have this cutting tool. Okay, let me close this. Close file. No, I'm not going to save changes. So, for example, one of the tools you have with the designer edition that you don't get. All right, so I'm gonna just make a big circle here. And I'm going to fill it so you guys can see better what happens. Oh, I think I'll fill it with green. Oh, shocker. Well, that's a little bit of a bright green. All right. All right, so one of the tools that I have, that you get with the designer edition that you don't get. Hey, Debbie, let me know. Woohoo. So was it your first day with kids, Debbie, or was it just first day in the classroom? All right, so one tool that you have with the designer edition is this cutting tool. So you'll see that my mouse switches to a blade. So it's like having a craft knife. All right, so then you can choose different things. You have curve, freehand, triangular. So I can go like this. See, and it's making triangular lines. I double click to end. Oops. Click to end the line. I thought I double clicked. Okay, so now this circle is actually in two pieces. So now I can take this and I can go like this, and I can go like this, and voila, look at the cool file you have. You can make stencils like that, Terry, using this. Yeah. I don't use this program to make my stencils. I use Inkscape. But it's very similar. Inkscape has a few different options. But, like, yeah, there's cool things you can do with this program. Carol! But anyway, so, you know, then, like, well, what if you've, like, what if you duplicate this? So let's take this, and let's make it smaller. And then, what if you take this, and let's make it smaller. Let's make it a different color, so we can see what's going to happen here. Let's flip it around. So let's take this object. We're going to... Oh. Excuse me. Let's rotate by 180 degrees. All right, now what if I wanted these two to be one shape so that it doesn't cut out, like I don't want to cut out this curve. So I click this one, I click this one, I right click, and I'm going to weld those two shapes together. In other words, join them into one big shape. Ta-da! So now I have that shape. Right? No, I haven't made a splat stencil yet, Linda. Yes, you can, Carol. You can load it for free and just play with it to see if, you know, what kind of stuff you can do with it. It's a really good way. I did that before I bought my Cameo. So, yeah, you can download the software for free and play with it. It's not the designer edition, so there's a few tools that you can't access, but, you know. That's okay, Lynn. I'm just showing the people that have the Cameo software. See, and now, all right, so I'm going to get rid of this. I'll just show you. File, open. I'll go to some of my files. I have a folder here where I have all of my silhouette files. All right. So notice that it says .studio. All right, that means it's actually a file for Silhouette. It can be opened without the designer edition software. All right, it doesn't give you a preview, unfortunately, not on the Mac anyway. You're going to start at 7 Eastern? Oh, okay. I was going to watercolor today, but I don't know, I might be too tired, but we'll see. I just wanted to show everyone if I open that file, this is obviously one I downloaded. You can change the size. Then just like with the other files, you have to go here. You have to choose your line. Because you can do these as kind of like perforated, or you can make them look like sewing files and whatever, right? Sewing lines and stuff. Then you go to your cutting, and there you go. Now you can see your cut lines. I had to search that out and figure out how to do that, because it was like Oh, you don't have to work at exhausting me. I'm already exhausted. Okay, so I am going to stop this recording, guys, and save it. Because I'm on producer, it means I also have to stop streaming. And I'm going to come back in my regular Ustream version, okay? So I will be back. I'll be back. Find my Ustream and stop.